Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the podcast, The VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 187. And just let that sink in. On June 17th, 2020, I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
It's police code for something, 187, right?
Yeah. You go back to old. Oh, that fits into the OG talk that Cogswell and I were.
Oh, that's fine. I
I
was just trying to think of what's significant about 187. It's a police code. Okay. Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
The 1990s OGs know exactly what I'm talking about. Now they got a thing running through their head.
Well, you know.
But who probably doesn't would be Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
I do know what that means, but I don't know where
Mr. Ice Cube, if I'm not or no, Ice-T. Sorry, Mr. Ice-T. It got him.
Somebody made an album on her, right?
Oh, it was
an album name or something.
It was a big to-do. Got him in a little bit of trouble, but yeah. It was kind of the Macarena of the gangsta rap for a long time.
I was more into Will Smith and MC Hammer and that kind of rap.
Mr. Ice. No Ice, baby.
Yeah, I mean,
sure. I love his movie. His movie is the greatest gift anybody has ever given to humanity. At the time, when you try to take it serious, not great. You watch it through the lens of 30 years, it is one of the greatest things. I am so glad it exists.
Clyde, you appreciate bad movies in a wonderful way. You know that, right?
Well, I mean, that movie also has a little bit of nostalgia because I remember when they were filming it, they filmed it, a lot of it around San Dimas and Glendora. So that was big, at the time there in 1990, 91 in there someplace. But it's one of those things you watch it now and you're like, it's hilarious. It wasn't supposed to be hilarious, but man, is it hilarious.
Well, 90s movies, for the most part, there's a certain kind of vibe to them. And that movie, since I've seen it, because you did play it on a movie party, movie party night, and I was at that movie party night, and it was hilarious. But it kind of exudes that kind of feeling for a 90s movie, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has a kind of similar feeling. Funny enough,
you mean TMNT 2, which actually featured Vanilla Ice? I think that was the final nail in his coffin.
I thought the final nail was the one where he goes to HGTV to build houses.
Well, that was on his many years later, his redemption arc.
It's comeback.
Okay.
Like Charlie Sheen had, after getting caught with all those hookers, he disappeared for like 10 years and then came back to explode, melt down all over again.
I was going to say, wait a minute, didn't he just melt
down? Which arc are we talking about? Because I think he's had a couple.
Well, that's what it is. Or, and then you've got the Robert Downey Jr. I mean, even Mel Gibson's back.
Wow, I didn't know that. But I did really enjoy his Vanilla Ice, whatever his show was called.
I never saw it.
The one that builds houses?
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
It was great. It was really.
You've not seen it?
No, really I can't stand reality TV, so I avoid all that stuff like the plague.
Some really cool places, and did some crazy cool stuff.
I will say he and Willis from Different Strokes are the whole reason I love the movie That's My Boy. Because they play themselves working at the snack bar of an ice skating rink because that's the only jobs they can get. And yes, did I say they play themselves?
Yes,
And
he did.
oh, it's awesome. They are the whole reason that movie is
what
awesome.
Movie is this?
That's My Boy. It was Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg.
Oh, God.
Okay.
It
I remember that movie
otherwise
now.
would have been one of the worst movies. I'm pretty sure that Red Letter Media listed as the worst movie this side of Jack and Jill, but still, I don't think it's that bad because Vanilla Ice and the guy I could never remember his name, Willis. The What You Talking About Willis, that Willis.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well,
but
just quickly, the Vanilla Ice Project, which is the name of that show. Do you know why it was popular? A, it's Vanilla Ice, and he's building stuff, and he actually became somewhat of a good carpenter. So awesome, good for him. And the people he built on really expensive rich houses because what they did is like, wait, I can hire this guy here who is some guy who probably knows his stuff. He's been doing it for forever. Or I could have Vanilla Ice work on my house. Yeah, I'm hiring Vanilla Ice.
But the story they didn't tell
were-
you is that when his rap career imploded, that's how he got by, was as a carpenter doing roofing and general maintenance handyman stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, he legitimately was good at his job, and he got to work on like multi-million-dollar Palm Beach estates where he would put in like $50,000 ovens, like ranges, like crazy, stupid, expensive stuff. That it was just fun watching this house go from a stupidly nice house to something that's so exorbitantly amazing that you like only see it on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, which
Right.
is also a blast from the past because nobody knows what that is anymore.
I missed Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous because
Great.
it was fun to make fun of too. It really was. And if they ever brought it back, they have to have a snobby sounding British accent guy to talk. But
so
it's the only way it works.
What you want is Jeremy Clarkson.
Sure, he would be great. He would be, and you see, he would bring a different flavor because the other guy, he sounds a trying to be proper, but Jeremy Clarkson would bring his kind of humor to it, which would be excellent.
I would
bring it back.
If it was Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous with Jeremy Clarkson, I'm in.
Okay.
Anybody else, I don't care. But you know what I do care about? What we're actually here to talk about. What's our first story?
Oh man, we have to talk about news.
I know. I mean, we can just throw all that out and just talk about stuff.
Well,
we are 187 episodes in. I think we've earned.
We've covered it pretty much.
We've
right?
pretty much covered everything at least twice.
Well, I don't know. Have we ever talked about Real Good?
I know Rather Good.
Rather Good. I don't know what that is.
Rathergood.com was the one that gave us that we love the moon with the sponge monkeys. It was a whole bunch of videos, like the Viking cats screaming that song about the gay bar. So is that what we're talking about?
No, Real Good is this application that's been available on Android for a while. But it gives you the ability to, pardon me. It gives you the ability to look at all your streaming services in one place and see where things are available or what's coming up available for you. The application is intended to take all your various streaming services and make it into one easy place to find what you can watch and be able to search for within your catalog. Looks like Real Good has made an update to their app and are now making it available on Android TV devices as well as on Amazon's Fire TV platform. platform. This allows you to open up a third party. Nothing, it's like Apple TVs requires you to use their Apple TV app in order to get a similar service. But a third party solution that should work on pretty much any or a compatible device, an Android TV or Fire TV stick, to be able to see all the various things to watch in one single interface. So this is an interesting step forward. I'm going to probably, if I get the chance, to install this and see if it works for us.
The timing is the thing that really gets me, because what this app does is exactly what the TiVo app does on their streaming. That was the thing that set the TiVo Stream 4K apart from all other Android TVs, is you had the functionality to see your shows from multiple providers in one menu and go directly into an episode. So I wonder, I mean, the fact that this is now available on potentially we'll just say all Android TVs, I wonder how that's going to affect the TiVo market share, because that was their single defining difference.
Yeah. I mean, I really like this. The thing for me is I don't own a TiVo. I don't intend to get a TiVo. So that's a barrier to me. But on multiple occasions, I've gone and watched a show and found out that I owned it somewhere else after buying it for $20. And then I'm just thoroughly annoyed that I spent $20 on a show that I could have watched for free on Netflix or some other way. And this would resolve that issue for me. Or me forgetting where I bought it and being like, I know I own Fantastic Beasts and where to find it. My daughter wants to watch it now. I can't figure out where I have it, so I'll just buy it again. And unfortunately, that's how lazy I am at the moment. And so I, in fact, literally did that in the last week. And then, eventually we find the DVD sitting around with a digital copy code already available. But it was too late. I'd already spent another $15 on it.
And I just realized that, okay, even though this is pretty much the same functionality as the TiVo Stream software on their Android TV device, they still have the guide that's integrated and soon to Sling, which will soon be integrated to other over-the-top services. So that would still set it apart from Real Good. So yeah, if for people that already have an Android TV, don't want to upgrade to a TiVo Stream 4K, this is a good stopgap.
Well, so first of all, Mike, you should totally try this on your Fire TV, see if it works well for you there. And
is it on the Fire TV?
According to the article, it's also now available on the Fire TV 6.
Yeah,
Fire TV platform. So both of those. And also, no, this is not going to make a huge hit on TiVo because there's no good streaming boxes out there. The TiVo is one of the very few not too expensive ones out there. It's going to basically dominate. I don't think this is going to make a big enough difference.
Xiaomi just put out their new one, their 4.
Okay.
You've got the new breed of Google ones coming soon. The NVIDIA Shield is still decent.
It's great.
Yeah, exactly. So there are plenty out there that are as good as the current new TiVo one. It was just this functionality was the one thing that set the TiVo apart a month ago.
Right. But when you go to the store and you see the Chromecast, you go, I don't want that. And then you go and you see the Amazon Fire TV and go, I don't want that. I want an Android. You see the really inexpensive, like one from Me, the Mi Box 4 or whatever it's called. And you go, oh, it's $59 or $60 or $70. And then you see the TiVo for $100. Most people are going to go, oh, I know TiVo.
Well, and that's what they're banking on.
And it's gonna. So, and then they're going to say, oh, the NVIDIA one's up to 150 or the other bigger one's 200. I'm going to get the TiVo. I know that one should be great. And they're not wrong. Well, all right. LG has a pretty cool new product out. It's one of their portable projectors. This thing is a tiny little projector that's like a little more than a pound. It's using an LED projection LED slash lamp inside to provide a 400. Is it 400 nits? No, I apologize. It's 250 lumens, which is different than nits, and a 720p resolution display inside this little tiny thing that'll get 2 hours of battery life, and it has Bluetooth connection, so you can actually send out to another Bluetooth radio for $400. It's a very cute little thing that is for a portable projector that'll work pretty much anywhere. This is for the price is basically right, and the resolution, while not 1080p or 4K for goodness sakes, for that cost, this is actually a really cool solution for a portable.
I was super interested in this at first until I saw the 720 at 100 inches.
Right.
Because if you remember back a couple, so back episode 176, we talked about the new projectors from Anchor.
Okay.
For about $100 more, you will get from them 1080p at 100 inches and Android TV built into it.
Okay.
Yes, their 4K one is like 1600.
It's the projectors,
which is, but that's on par with a quality 4K model, like it says right here in the story. But I would say.
Okay, well, okay. Let me ask you, at what price does this make sense, though? Where would you like? Yeah, I'll pick one up. $200.
Yeah, 200, 199, 200. But then again, I can get a used, 1080i for like $50.
Well, 1080i is a 720p. So.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. It's essentially the same thing for like $50. I don't know. I mean, the fact that it's 720 at 100 inches is, 720, and I've mentioned that I think 720 is fine on screens smaller than 42 inches. At 100 inches, 720 is not fine.
So for me, there's a couple of things about this. This seems like a reasonable kid backyard movie watching projector. The questions you have to ask is, what's your throw distance to get 100 inches? And is that going to cut it at 250 lumens?
Yeah, I was
you
going
got
to
to be in a pretty dark place for 250 lumens, unless it's within about 5 feet.
I've got to be in a pretty dark place to spend that money on this product.
No, a very bright place, a place full of money where you're rich and you can just spend stuff nilly-willy. That's what the place you need.
I admire them for what they're trying to do, but for around the same price, I can get ones that are even smaller, like the Pico projectors that give you about the same resolution, way shorter throw, which for portable isn't that bad. I don't know.
And 2 hours on the battery is questionable because a lot of movies run 2 hours.
So you can't watch Lord of the Rings on
Nope.
battery.
Yeah. Well, no. But B,
not many people can.
that most things don't actually get the battery life they claim. So if you're actually shy of 2 hours, then you're really screwed. You can't even watch a kid's movie.
You can watch one episode of American Dad.
Yeah. So it's questionable. I mean, I think it would be entertaining for certain things, sitting in the backyard with the guys watching American Dad, Family Guy. That sounds good. Your neighbors are going to shoot you, but that kind of thing, it just depends on what you're trying to consume and who you're trying to consume it for or with. But I agree with you. $400 seems a little high for
what equates to, in my book, to a toy.
You know, and I mean the size, based on what the description and my guess, you know, I think it's a little too big to be called portable, but I think it's nice and compact for something that's like going to be in your house, like your home theater. Because that's usually the one problem that a lot of people have with projectors is
I mean,
big giant
5 by
thing on the
5,
ceiling.
1.1 pounds and 5 by 5 inches. I mean, that's not that big.
Oh, I guess it's here.
It's a little bigger than a paperback book, right? You know.
Oh, okay. No, that's a little bit
Small enough.
Yeah, I okay. I'll call that portable. I retract that statement. I was thinking I missed that where it said it was 5 by 5. I was guessing it was about 10.
It looks bigger
square.
in the picture. I agree with you
Because of that stool.
It's fairly small.
Must be a tiny school for small people. Hey, Android TV is getting an update. This update has been kind of dug up inside of the code. The guys at 9 to 5 Google have been looking hard into the code and seeing that there is a new feature coming out that's going to be using the voice match feature that has been in the Google Assistant for some time. This means that the Google Assistant button on the remote may be able to recognize who you are and thus give you more personalized results, which means, as somebody else said, you can say, hey, watch Netflix, and it will be able to open up Netflix and open your account on it.
I guess that's cool.
The idea of it understanding who you are, and then more importantly to me, knowing that it's not you, and thus maybe giving you some more generic, promptings and things to do instead of what you're used to doing, makes a lot of sense. Where just where somebody else walks in and says,
it makes more sense if you're using it for personalized stuff like you would your phone. Like if you're sitting on the couch in the morning and you talk to it and say, what's my commute? Yeah. It should understand you versus your wife. Yes. It depends on what you're using it for. My personal usage of voice on the TV, I don't see the point, but that's my use case. So that's where I'm coming from. But no, I'm glad that they did it. They should do it. We want the services to be ubiquitous across all platforms. You don't want to have to explain, hey, this service is, Android Assistant is great. You can do this, except if you're on this device. And if you're on this other device, then, it's completely off the table. Yeah, you don't want that. You want uniformity. So for that reason, I say good on you. And what took so long?
It's fine. It's going to be I foresee this is going to be leading into something actually really cool in the future.
You know what? It's going to be great.
Well, really? You think so?
I think it's going to be great.
Well, I've never heard that. Hey, guys, yeah, you guys know the story about HBO Max, right?
Who?
HBO Max.
He was the one that I was telling to stay off Sabrina last week.
Yeah,
or was that 2 weeks ago? Well, HBO Max, stay away from Sabrina.
Well, but HBO Max is a streaming service, and the launch has been perfect, right?
I think it's been fine. Honestly, it was seamless for me.
Yeah, so you didn't have any problem with HBO Go or HBO Now?
No, I was using HBO Go, and then I went, I should see if I can actually sign into HBO Max. So I exited out of Go, loaded Max, signed in, and said, oh, okay, went back and deleted Go.
Well, I'm on Max. I guess you're lucky because Go is going away.
Well, yeah.
Go has been in order to try to change, the various levels of confusion for people that aren't Clyde. HBO is still a service you can use online. HBO Now is still a service you can buy for watching your standalone service, not through your cable provider. HBO Go is going away. HBO Max is still staying around. So what used to be around is now being shuffled a bit. You can now use HBO, HBO Go, or HBO Max, say goodbye. HBO Now, say goodbye to Go. Is that confusing enough?
I'm confused. I have no idea what's going on.
So, number one, I didn't even know if I was going to have access to Max, which that in itself was problematic. If you had asked me, and actually I think someone did ask me, and I said, I don't know. And the only way I knew was because we do this show and I was setting up that TiVo, and then I went, I may as well just try logging in. What's the worst they can do is say no. And then I logged in and AT&T said, yep, because I get my HBO through AT&T through my cellular.
Right.
So it was like, yep, no, you're good. And I said, okay.
Webb mentions that he's getting his HBO through the HBO Go app on a Roku, and he really wishes that there was a Roku app for the new HBO Max, which there isn't, famously, neither for the Amazon platform as well. And it looks like the HBO Go is going to be officially sunsetted and discontinued on July 31st. So we
I
got a little bit of
assume
time.
it'll be out by then.
We got
I
about a month and a
doubt
half.
they would be. Now this is AT&T we're talking about, so hold on, don't go crazy. But I highly doubt they would set a hard date to sunset something if the replacement wasn't there. If they weren't sure that it was going to be on the Fire TV and the Roku by that time. So, and again, like I said, we know that AT&T's done stranger things, but all logic would say you wouldn't remove something if the replacement wasn't already there. And if the replacement isn't there, I have a feeling they will extend that sunset for those devices.
So it's possible. But you know what? AT&T and Time Warner, they have tried many times to not make this confusing. So in honor of that, HBO and DC is working together, and they're going to be making comic books called To the Max. Yes, that's right. This is going to be a HBO Max themed comic books. 3 different stories about 3 different people who get superpowers from a dog named Max. And they get different superpowers, and they are basically it's attempting to kind of get the theme of anybody can be a superhero by using the Max.
So this is the Radio Shack Superman gets saved by the TRS-80 all over again.
What the? I don't know about this.
Oh yeah, Brian actually. It's funny because Brian actually mentioned it on Cord Killers a few weeks back. There was a Radio Shack special edition of Superman comics where Superman gets saved by... The only reason Superman's able to succeed is because somebody with the TRS-80 ran some numbers and helped him out.
Yeah. So I love reading this article. This one line here really summarizes it. We're not entirely sure how binge watching Friends for the 13th time equates to achieving your maximum potential, but everyone has different goals.
See, the only thing, if, they're able to make this, but if only they could make content that I actually want to watch. There hasn't been anything on HBO for me to watch in months, and I went into HBO Max thinking, oh hey, there's going to be all this extra stuff. Still can't find anything I want to watch.
Yeah.
So glad I'm getting it for free.
Hey guys, have you ever wanted to have a virtual office suite?
I have a virtual office suite.
What's your virtual office suite? Let me name. What is your virtual office suite?
You're looking at it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It looks nice.
Yeah.
It's funny. You stick me in this cubicle over here all the time. It's kind of Can I get that? Kind of get a corner office? Well, who knows? Maybe one of these times we will be using HTC's Vive XR suite in the future in order to have our remote lives in the virtual world. That's right. It's like Office for VR, where they provide various pieces of useful VR utilities like Vive Sync, which lets us make a remote collaboration service, and Vive Sessions and Vive Campus, which is like a training solution for like an educational training solution. A Vive Social, which is like, hey, let's go ahead and meet out in this virtual place and have a good time together. Vive Museum, which allows you to go explore a virtual environment together with other people. I mean, is this a real thing? I mean, really, is this the thing people want?
The museum thing is something that Microsoft's version, HoloLens or whatever, they're, with Oculus or whatever, they've been doing that for a while. They had a whole ad campaign about how they were doing pictures of famous places so that you could basically go there virtually. But I'm not interested in this at all. The beauty of working from home is that I don't have to see anybody. Real or virtual, I don't want to have to look at anybody. I like to imagine that everybody outside these walls is gone. I'm just dealing with AI. That's fine.
So this is I actually, in a weird way, this is like the HTC Vive is deciding, hey, we're gonna make this an operating system, and we're gonna try to corner this space, this virtual space. And so the current leaders in that space, in that kind of thing, don't we have a leg up on them. So are you guys ready to have your next virtual environment, your next operating system of your computer be Vive XR suite? I mean, it's
thank you. I think that would be the point where I go, I'm out. Everybody hits that platform where they refuse to upgrade from it. That would be the marker of when I'm officially old and I refuse to go along with the future.
Yeah. I got to say, I'm actually very interested in this. I personally feel like we're still well away from a place where this type of solution actually works and makes sense. But this is where I want to be. I mean, I personally am the kind of person that wants to dive into the oasis and never come back out. If you're familiar with Ready Player One. The thing is that there's a couple of things. First, that like right now at work, I'm having to deal with the idea of virtualizing what normally is in-person live conferences that we do. And we, rent out basically a hotel and we do a big conference for a week. And we're having to find ways to provide that same kind of content and training and continuing education credits and stuff to people. But it's also about the networking experience and the interacting with other healthcare providers throughout the state. And so those are all things that we usually offer, and our healthcare providers that are part of our network really appreciate that opportunity to get together, share stories, communicate, and learn from each other. And that is harder to do in a virtual environment like Zoom, because the interactions become it's too flat, right? Like in a environment like Zoom, everybody has the same level of voice, no matter how, there's no distance or perception of distance. And so a VR environment actually helps with that, in that you have an avatar and you can build sound to be relative to the physical the virtual physical distance of your avatars and such like that. So you can actually walk up to a group and talk to them and listen to them, and then walk to another group and not have the sound. Those kinds of things are really relevant to social interaction, and it's really easy to forget about that type of stuff. When you start virtualizing environments in a real way, which like augmented or virtual reality, as opposed to doing things online, which a lot of people are calling that virtualizing or virtual conferences and stuff, but it's not actually going all the way to virtual reality. And so there is a very distinct difference, and it really does impact the social environment. So from my work perspective, this is really interesting stuff. We're certainly not in a situation, especially since I work with nonprofit health centers, that we're going to give them all VR headsets and have them get together and do a big virtual conference.
That right there is the point that I was waiting to make. Is the only way that this is going to be a reality is when headsets become cheap enough that my parents could justify buying one. My parents are not spending, if I'm not willing to spend $1,000 on a headset I might actually use, there is no way my parents are going to get a couple,
Right.
And if my parents aren't going to get it, then, there's so many other people that would, and it just.
For me, price is not the problem. I mean, it is expensive and it's annoying. But if I wanted to be in this environment all the time, I couldn't be, because I'm constantly moving between places and in the physical world. Physically, I go to places to do stuff. And if I'm stuck inside I can't be stuck in a virtual world. I have to go out and get out of that. I can barely sit at a desk for an hour between having to run around and do things. So that way doesn't make sense for me. So,
well, and I mean, and it's a lot like cellular telephones. Cellular telephones were around for nearly 30 years before they got to the point where financially they were cheap enough that everybody could justify getting one in the early 2000s. But I mean, this is going to be kind of the same thing. They may make this OS that is VR focused, but until you get enough people, be like Windows 3.1.
Yeah.
You had people use it. It wasn't great. It wasn't until like Windows 95 that stuff really got going. And that's when everybody said, oh, this is cool enough that now I need a computer. Yeah. I know many people that had an even interest in a computer until Windows 95, which also was internet, but yes. So,
I mean, they tout here 50 people in a virtual location, 2,500 people on a virtual campus. I mean, what group of 2,500 people are going to have HTC Vives aside from an HTC Vive convention? It's like, you're not going to find a natural environment where that happens.
Well, but Vive uses, they follow the VR standard. So theoretically, this should work with anything that,
right. It says in the story it work. It's not 6.
It's the Oculus, or you get your choice.
The Windows MR.
So
Steam
this
one.
Would be
Index.
I could see some campuses, some colleges offering this for virtual functionality, where it's just an expectation of signing up for your, Harvard online course. You're going to have to spend an extra $1,000 because who cares? You already spent $60,000 on your tuition. So, but I like I said, I think it's really interesting. I like where it's going. I personally love the idea of playing my games and doing my interactions in an environment like this. But the cost is prohibitive. It's not available enough. There's not enough people with it. C, it's still not comfortable enough to wear long term. So, if I'm going to school for 6 hours, or working for 8 or 12 or 16 hours, then I'm not going to want to have this on the whole time. And so those are all other considerations and things. Super excited about the future. I think this is a step in the right direction, but still not quite ready for it.
What was that movie where basically people got up in the morning and they climbed into a pod closet in their house, and then like a virtual version of them left the house and went to work all day, and they operated it from inside this weird pod closet, And then at the end of the day, the robot would come home, go into the charger, and then they would come out. And
Was it a robot?
it was like a robot.
It wasn't.
But
It wasn't like an avatar. I mean,
it was some sort of avatar. I don't remember if it was a robot or virtual.
Alanon
or
6666 says it's surrogates, but I don't think it's surrogates.
Yes,
it is.
No, it is. That's the movie I'm thinking of.
Okay,
so something like that. But yeah, we're someday I believe yes, this could be, but we're missing whatever that main catalyst is to promote adoption.
Oh, come on. We got that catalyst right now. All of us can't go outside, but we can in our virtual bodies.
I go outside all the time. It's nice because no one else is outside. Oh, wait, everybody's outside.
Yes.
Which makes me go back inside because everybody's outside.
Hey, Roku's discounting many of their devices, maybe not all, for Father's Day. So if you've been waiting for that really inexpensive Roku player for $30 or that Roku Ultra for $80, this is the time. Go ahead and get it now.
I'm going to say I don't think Engadget is doing their research. I think they're getting a little bit lazy because the Ultra has been $80 everywhere forever. That was the whole reason that I bought a Ultra 2 years ago, is because it dropped down to $80, and then the Ultra Plus, when it came out, it was $80, so I bought it. Yeah, I looked through this. The prices look normal, so
okay. Well, we should have taken it off the list.
I'm seeing that now. I thought there was a good deal in here, but I don't think so. But I mean, I might be wrong. The other ones I'm not kept up on. So, but if you want to, get something for your dad or to receive because you're a dad.
Just what I need, another Roku streaming device. Let's see, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
See,
6.
You can't get the other Premiere. The Premiere Plus, I think it is the one I keep in my suitcase, because that's the one that has the AV cable capability. So I can plug it into any TV.
Wherever you go.
So basically it gets used when I go to CES. And that's it.
I have the exact same one and used it on my last trip. It was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's a bunch of people out there who's really into spatial audio, which basically means they can try to get the 3D sound around their system. And usually that involves a very expensive setup of your speakers and having things on all sides of you. And they also having to have the correct processing equipment in order to process the audio out of your whatever media you're playing in order to get that surround speaker solution working for you. Razer has a bunch of new hardware out, but more importantly, they have a $20 app which will virtualize any normal set of headphones and provide you with a virtual 3D like THX surround solution inside of your computer, Windows 10 PC. They actually even have a demo of it using it's a YouTube link here that it's sending you the feed of what it would normally be. It's basically pre-processed here, to give you that sensation of 3D audio around. I don't know if it does Z-axis, but it will do all around you for surround audio. It's interesting.
So I assume this is meant to be used with headphones?
Yes, headphones only, because if you use something else.
And that's what I was going to say, is because I'll try it. I've not been too impressed with the simulated surround. I mean, my Corsair headset does the simulated surround. It's okay. Usually I just leave it turned off.
I will definitely try this video like after the after show talk.
I was going to say, because the simulated surround you get from like the sound bars where they're bouncing it off the ceilings, that can sound awesome. Like what was the sound bar that we saw where we were watching the Fast and Furious movie? Or no, Hobbs and Shaw.
That's not Fast and Furious,
Mike.
Movie.
Yeah. Whatever that sound bar was. That one was great. And it was just bouncing it all over the room. But yeah, I'll try it.
I am still bitter from back in the 90s, since this is the back in the 90s episode, there was a company out there called was an Audible Ariel. I can't remember the name of it. But anyways, they had 3D audio figured out. They literally were doing wave tracing in order of 3D areas in order to produce a real 3D audio effect. They worked with NASA in order to be able to make that audio sound like it's actually coming from above you or below it. And they basically got priced out of the market and bought up by Creative Labs, and Creative Labs never did anything with it. So I'm still kind of pissed off. Dang it.
Yeah,
so I'm excited to check it out, but that's it.
It's interesting. It is $20, but they do offer a free trial. So
is it a fully functional trial?
That I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. I will probably give
Why
it a
haven't you
shot.
tried it yet?
Because I just found out about it today. But I gotta say, like, I just finished a game, a battle in a game called Wildlands, which is one of the Ghost Recon games, where I was fighting a predator. And
like the Predator?
Like the Predator. And I gotta say, it's hard to fight something that can become invisible when you can't tell where the sound is coming from either. So it would have been really helpful to be able to be like, oh, he's back there because that's where the sound is.
Did you end up like Jesse Ventura?
No,
Dead?
well, yeah, many times. Me and my friend, we fought him like 50 or 60 times before we finally beat him. It was absolutely wonderful fun. But I got to say, spatial audio really can make a big difference in certain types of games. So I'm interested in giving it a shot. $20 is fair if it really enhances the gameplay.
We should we offer this show in with spatial audio?
Oh, hell
and just
yes.
randomly move the voices around?
Yes, but we should allow give two versions of the feed, one with and one without.
Well, no, it's just if you don't want it, you turn off the spatial. Most people would never even notice because most people wouldn't ever get the spatial audio.
Well, if you want, you could probably take my feed and put me on the left channel and put Mike's feed on the right channel. We get a little stereo
move it around,
situation.
and then every once in a while you get a couple, things coming from below you.
That would be awesome. That's me. Especially if you had like a producer in the background. So if you're on like Diamond
like the
Club,
voice of God coming from above.
Yes, of course. Hey, Google has made a new version of their Stadia starter kit. It's instead of being $130, it's only $100. Only difference is you pay for the kit, and you don't get 3 months of Stadia for free. You get 1 month.
So that tells us that 2 months of your free Stadia was actually costing you $30.
Yes, that's what
because it wasn't actually free. They just built it into the price. So now we know how much it was.
So I want to just comment on this, that I have purchased a Stadia game.
Okay.
The Stadia game I purchased was the Lara Croft first. They recently rebooted the Lara Croft game and the Lara Croft, and I have not played any of them. But the first one was on sale for $10, and Google was giving me a free $10 coupon. So it cost me nothing.
Cool.
But it's mine forever on Stadia.
There you go.
So, and so I've tried it on a Chromebook.
So you're gonna stay Stadia?
I guess, at least for that game.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I just wanted to try something. I went through and I was like, hey, you get a free $10 coupon off any game, and it was like, this game's on sale for normally $20. It's on sale for $10. It's like, sure, this works. Bye. And so I actually that it's mine forever, and it's as correction, it was mine forever until Google kills Stadia. Correct.
Well, it'll still be his forever. He just won't be able to play it anymore.
Exactly.
Kind of like those Betamax tapes that I have in a box someplace, and
you still own them.
The 8 tracks. I still own them. They're still mine. I just can't play them.
Yeah, I love the idea, and if my internet didn't suck so bad, I would jump on board this in a second. But it's so unreliable that the idea of streaming games at the moment. I mean, I've cut out a couple of times on this video, depending. Not sure how much you've noticed, but where I just have no audio or video from you guys for 10, 20 seconds.
Oh,
That's horrible.
No, that's intentional.
It's like, wait,
Clyde,
we
stop
gotta talk
that.
about Mike. Shut him off.
Right, stop doing that. That's not nice. Jeez. All right. Sonos has their own little stereo speakers. Actually, not stereo. Little portable speakers that are out there. Got one called the Sonos Move, which literally has a battery in it intended for you to go out and use it portably. There's a new version of it out. It's now available in white. I didn't even know that they had one of these little portable Sonos speakers. This is a thing that I think is going to become much more popular. Smart speakers with batteries.
So now that you've got the white and the black right next to each other, my urge to call it the Sonos Move gets even stronger.
I gotta say, I thought I would never buy the white one; it'd get dirty.
Oh,
I'd buy the black. Yeah, if it's a portable thing, you're gonna be picking that up. Your can greases are it's gonna turn yellow. Ugh. No, that doesn't make sense. Why? I don't get that. I know. The Sonos Move. I like it.
But that's what I always think of whenever I see Sonos Move. And move over bacon, make room for something meatier. But
I like it a lot. You know, one of the challenges I have, I love taking like my Echo with me, and when I travel, if I'm going to be gone someplace for more than a day or two, and that's great. But the challenge is that if you are in a hotel, a lot of times the plugs are not in convenient locations. So you got to like find a way to snake a plug behind the TV or something like that. And so battery power, especially if it's getting a lot of battery life, like 11 hours, this is pretty cool. And I'm interested in it. I may have to go that route.
You know, I have a question, because if this is going to be a portable speaker, what if you leave with your Wi-Fi? Are you just only? I'm sure it could be used as a Bluetooth speaker, but otherwise, it's basically basically gonna suck after that for all its functionality, right?
So
maybe we'll just get a cheap Bluetooth speaker at that point.
I mean, this isn't a smart speaker, right? As far as I can tell, it's just a standard Bluetooth or Wi-Fi speaker. So,
it is not one of their smart, fully connected speakers. Oh.
So I mean, it's kind of the hybrid, because it'll work with. My understanding is it will work with their Sonos home system, but it's not like it doesn't have that all baked into it. So when you take it out of the house, and it's $400, it better be able to do enough to integrate with your existing Sonos system. But then that price also brings up, for $400, do you really want to be taking that with you?
This is true. I missed that price. That's insane.
I mean,
jeez,
the $100 Fire thing is like.
The JBL's portable speakers are awesome for the price. I mean, those things are super loud and super decent, and they're not the world's greatest, and they're cheap.
Yeah, and they last hours. That's my point. And that's my point is. If you're gonna actually have something that you're gonna travel with, get something that is cheap enough that if you lose it, you're not gonna like go crazy. And number two, that you can take in the pool with you.
Yeah. I guess I just stick with the Echo Dot or one of those waterproof Altec Lansing or JBL speakers.
Yeah, I got my kids a couple of those Altec Lansing ones, and they're great. I think they were like $30. Great. And yes, my daughter takes it in the pool all the time. It just floats along,
And this is exactly where I get with Sonos every time. I don't have any Sonos stuff. Every time I see them, I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. Oh, it looks so good. I want that. And then I get to the price tag and I'm like, I don't want it that much though. I don't want it that much.
I told you guys my story about how Sonos single-handedly tried to take down Best Buy, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And apparently there's still a problem. They always like to use the same channel for everything for Wi-Fi. And so you can really mess with them even now.
Yeah.
So, Zoom made a announcement last week about how they're going to be implementing end-to-end encryption for all those Zoom calls. Then they also let it be known that they're going to provide this to all their paying customers, but not their free customers. At which point, half the internet blew up. Because
how dare you not give me something for I'm not paying for?
Right. Well, but the argument was, of course, why is not are you not giving it to everybody else? Because if you have it, it doesn't seem like it's fair. But it's actually because they want to comply with police orders is why they decided to do that. Because if it is truly end-to-end encrypted, then nobody could see what's going on inside your video at all. So that's which to me is if that's what you're going to do, then yeah, you should make that available. Well, it's okay if it's not a feature, but interestingly enough, they have just come out today to say, actually, we figured out a way to they've identified a path forward, is what they said, in order to be able to give end-to-end encryption to all users, which is an interesting word of phrase, identified a path forward, which means they've identified a way to give you end-to-end encryption while still being able to comply to people who want to subpoena the
So basically, they're giving you end-to-end encryption. They're just holding the keys.
That's what kind of the it was before. That's all open to interpretation. Nobody is. Unfortunately,
anybody. Self-entitled BS. This is one of those things that if you're not happy about a free product, don't use it. Use a different product.
It's so I first of all, I will completely agree with you on that. When people get all up in arms about privacy rights for
not fair.
Google and stuff like that, it annoys me. I do think that it's reasonable to request that companies provide you the expectation that you can what to expect. So tell me if you're going to sell my information and my travels and track me through your site. But otherwise, my expectation is generally I'm using your service for free. Then you're going to use my information to benefit.
Yeah.
So I am totally on board with you on that. Obviously, the timing and the exact phrasing was fairly tone deaf and not well chosen to come up with that phrase at the exact time that he did. But all that said, I do agree that ultimately they're a company. They have the right to do what they want with their product, and they owe you absolutely nothing as a non-paying customer.
Yeah. And I mean, if this was something where they were the only product that you could possibly use, then yes. Same features for everybody, but there is competition. There are other alternatives. Shut up and just use something else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, also the term end-to-end encryption is problematic.
It is.
Because what exactly do they mean by that? If you take a true cryptologist's view of end-to-end encryption, that means my video feed gets encrypted on my computer, gets sent through the network. Nobody in the middle can see it, and then it gets to the end computer, and they can do it. And which is kind of what they're talking about here. But also at the same time, basically nobody does that except for Signal. So,
and like I said, on the surface, end-to-end sounds fine, but when you parse it with the knowledge that they they needed to give access to the Big Brother or whatever,
right?
Then that makes it problematic.
Obviously not end-to-end encrypted.
Yes.
And also, but doing end-to-end encryption, you obviously have to also realize that means things that are natively not encrypted, like a SIP connection. There's no end-to-end encryption built into the protocols for that. Or if you're trying to put it on a standard telephone line, guess what? People can hear what's on the telephone line. I guarantee it.
Also, if you are trying to use this with the end-to-end encryption anywhere that has a next generation firewall, you're going to have problems because every company running next generation firewalls has decryption turned on, which then takes your encrypted signal, breaks it, looks at it, and then puts it back together, forwards it on.
And that's true if you're using an SSL style encryption, not of other kinds. But if you really want end-to-end encryption, get a VPN point to point from you to the person you're trying to talk to. Talk over that.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead.
It's worth acknowledging Al-Anon's point of it is reasonable to voice your desires and opinions to companies.
Sure.
I think that's absolutely true. I 100% agree.
It's the
you
expectation.
do need to let your own voice be known as well. And my point is, if you don't like Google's privacy policy, don't use Google.
Mm-hmm.
But absolutely let your voice be known that, hey, this is a problem. And I think that's the great thing about the hacker culture and stuff, and the security conscious culture and whatnot, is that they do voice these things, they do talk about it, and I think that's important, definitely. Again, I do still say that a private company has the right to try to profit from their customers. That is what most of them exist for, and they should be trying to do that, and that's reasonable as well. But yeah, I will definitely agree with you, Al-Anon.
And I wasn't saying you shouldn't tell the company, what I'm referring to people that when everything's melting down and throwing temper tantrums because the paid version gets a feature that I don't get, that's not fair.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. When you have the option already, you just don't want to pay for it. Go someplace else.
All right, next story is a general PSA. The Google Chromecast, not the Ultra, but the regular one that was introduced, I don't know, a long time ago for an amazing $35 for the device. The updated version of the Chromecast was also $35 until just recently, where they very quietly reduced the price permanently to $30. That's right. If you want a Chromecast, it's $5 cheaper. Save yourself a $5.
Yeah. So.
Good. That's it. The next news is Quibi has been working behind the scenes in order to actually make a true Quibi app in order to get on the Roku and Amazon Fire platforms. Apparently, they are working on negotiations for some revenue sharing between the two companies. There's been no details about how that's going to work, but they are. But other than that, they are in the process of making apps in order to make Quibis available to people on those platforms. Now, if you ask me, I think they're going to have a pretty big bump in number of at least initial viewers when they get it on these two platforms, and hopefully that happens soon. No, not going to interested in Quibi. You're basically done. You think it's over before it started?
Much like Apple TV Plus, I was waiting for content that seemed interesting to me, and still haven't seen anything. So.
You see, for me, I like the concept. I can tell that from what I've seen so far and what people have heard so far that they haven't figured it out yet, how I'm hoping they will. But actually, I'm interested in seeing a Quibi show that is made right.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen one yet. Nothing has really gotten me as a kind of okay, this makes sense as a 10-minute show you watch once a day or something like that.
So here was the reason. Number one, I don't watch media on my phone. When Quibi was a mobile-only platform, I was automatically out because I never watch anything on my phone. Then when they said, oh, hey, we're coming to TV, though, you were already a mobile-only platform, and that is what everybody developed their stuff. So it became another no thank you, because now you're just trying to adapt this mobile-only stuff to fit on my screen that doesn't go vertical. No thank you again. We'll see. Somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
I said no thank you to Hulu for many years, and now I'm an avid Hulu subscriber. So that was when Hulu, you could only watch it in a browser, and I said no thank you because I don't want to watch TV on my computer.
Well, that's hopefully coming soon to your other platforms.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Hey, so last story here is kind of a just for fun one. Apparently, there's been some Chinese researchers, of course, Chinese researchers, have been working on making deep fake images of people, and instead of using, the AI to, like we've seen before, like this face is not real that we've seen before. They're being able to generate random deep fake faces based on the drawing of these faces. So this is kind of a cool idea for me because, hey, I need a character who kind of looks like this, and this is what you can kind of get a mugshot out of it. But at the same time, I want to take this whole process and insert some of the ugliest faces of drawings out there. I want to put Rocky
Do not
Bullwinkle in
submit
here.
my face.
I want to see somebody put somebody like Rocky and Bullwinkle in here.
I want to do this. I want to do this, but I want to put the eyes like super close together with a giant nose and like a weird, crazy.
I want to see these comically different, faces and see what kind of real persons get generated.
Let me just say, if you haven't opened this story, click on the link in the chat. Do yourself a favor, open this story. This is super creepy. I kind of, if it wasn't for the one in the middle, her eye being all wonky, I would have been suspicious that they didn't take actual people pictures and then try to generate a drawing with the AI. That looks closer.
Take a minute and
like
watch
I said,
the
her
video.
eye is like super wonky. Not in a natural way. The left side of her face is kind of all weird.
Take a minute and watch the video. The video it does as it's being drawn in. It's real time.
I was just saying from the initial picture. When the first thing when I looked at it, I would have been suspicious had it not been for that one jacked up lady.
So again, I want to see this, and then I want to see a professional cartoonist draw in some cartoon characters, and I want to see what the human cartoons look like. I really do.
So is there a place that you can get this, or that you can...
Unfortunately, it does not look like this is available yet, but being a university product, it will probably become an open source program that you can play with in the future.
Yeah, I totally want this for my D&D characters. I think
totally.
Like, I agree with you. You got to make your avatars, and it's always I'm just not a good enough artist to get to where I want to go.
For your David Duchovny characters?
Yes. When you play
X-Files,
X-Files,
you're always David Duchovny.
Always play as Mulder or Fox or whatever. I don't even know.
According to their website, the code is coming soon.
All right.
That's awesome.
It's great.
Although, and I just want to say officially, even though she has a wonky face, she's still cute. I kind of like that wonky face. It's growing on me.
If you watch the video and see how it grows, it's very interesting.
I don't want to.
It's so good.
I'll watch it.
It's so good. Watch it. It's so
well, I'll watch it after I show you guys the Nickelbot video. But hey, why don't we get to some rants and some raves? Rants, raves, what you got?
I've been just, working on. I got interesting stuff going on being the end of school, and we're now looking very deeply into what's next school year is going to look like. And I'd be happy to talk about that in the after show. But that means I've really been kind of passive in my viewing of stuff. The two things is my wife has started watching the old CBS show The Guardian, which is I think they only had 3 seasons. A lawyer having to do a lot of child advocacy stuff. It's a halfway decent show. Nothing really to write home about. And I also finished last night the most recent season that just came out for My Hero Academia. The last 3 episodes dropped, and I was able to watch that. So, and
How did you feel about the way it ended?
So everything up to these last 2 episodes felt like a great story arc, and there's like, okay, we have to fill in 2 more episodes. Let's do something with it. It felt kind of,
it was
weird,
pointless.
It was kind of weird, kind of pointless. I mean, it did have a point.
But it didn't need, that point didn't need to be made this season. It just kind of was super rushed.
It was super rushed. Although I have to say the animation of that final fight was decent. I liked it. I like Hawks, that character. He's totally like, I mean, he's a jerk, but I love him. So that's a great character. So yeah, that's good stuff going on with that. Yes, I do agree. It feels very rushed, though. It was very like filler.
Yeah,
that's all right. Yeah. That's basically what I've been up to. Life is. This is going to be an interesting school year next year. I just gonna have to say that.
Yeah,
cool.
That's great.
Right.
Well, for me, I have been diligently trying to find time to do anything other than work and failing miserably. So yeah, I haven't gotten a lot done. I did watch parts of Fantastic Beasts 2 with my daughter. And by that, I mean, I stopped and gulped down some dinner while she watched the end scene of it before I went back up to the office to work some more. But that said, it's a great show. I really enjoyed the little bit that I got to watch. And maybe now that, nothing has changed and I'll be working probably a lot still, I'll be able to find a way to watch it. It's my hope.
Once you've started it, you'll probably, knowing you, it's right up your alley. You're going to have to watch it from beginning to end, obviously.
I mean, I've seen it before.
Oh, you have? Okay.
It's not a new one. I bought the movies again, and because my daughter wanted to watch them, and then we found one of them, but we didn't find the other one, so I didn't waste my money on both of them. Yet. I thought I owned them both, but
how many times have I got my wife has said, "Oh, I can't stream this," and I say, "It's on Plex. We have it." "Oh, you do?" It's like, "Yes, we have it." "Oh, okay." And I have to remind, we buy the DVDs and we rip them and we put them on Plex. It's like, "Oh, okay."
All right. So, some of you might have noticed where I am tonight.
Where you're in your normal spot. Nothing's changed.
And that is the problem. I'm supposed to be in Indiana. Turtle Days is right now.
Oh.
But we had to call that off because we couldn't plan back in beginning of February when we were putting together, figuring things out, and everything started to fall apart. And we went, crap. How do we make plans for June when we don't know what June's going to look like? So, yeah. BK is off. I was supposed to be off this whole week. I originally changed it so that it's just this weekend, but based on my work schedule for the last couple weeks, I kind of wish I would have kept this whole week off because I'm ready to murder people. Just a couple specific people.
No, okay, good. Not everybody, not random.
No. Not
your
like
rage
total postal. It's focused at
Clyde and his rage directed directly at the specific people that just pissing him off.
It's to the point where I'm not even responding to emails because it's like, if I respond to this, I'm gonna get fired. I told my manager, I said,
forward button.
It's
forward.
It's all you. It's all you. you deal with this. I'm
forward. You forward to whoever and say, I am done. I'm tagging out. I'm done here. I do not wish to create a bigger problem than it currently is, but tag, you're it.
But I am so ready. See, I've only been back to work since February, and I am so desperately in need of a vacation.
Famously, at my previous job, there were certain people who did not mix well. And so, just for whatever reason, you would want to, if somebody needs some help, and people would look around and say, not me. So certain people handled certain people inside the school because it was like, you know what? We've had problems when those people try to interact with those people, but you seem to be doing good with that. So why don't you go ahead and take it? And if you don't have somebody else that can handle stuff like that, that's tough, man.
Yeah, especially someone that's asking a question, asking for specifics on something that they have absolutely does not pertain to them, and you give them an answer, and they keep asking the question, and it's like, refer to what I told you previously.
Asked and answered.
You know, if someone shut the highway department, they shut down one of the lanes on the freeway, they made sure that you're able to still use the freeway, but you're standing on the side of the road demanding to know, how are you going to fix that lane that you shut down? It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with you. Use the freeway. Just use the freaking freeway that I graciously left open for you. I went out of my way to make sure that that freeway was available for you to use. Don't worry about this stupid lane. It has nothing to do with anything that you need to do. Well, how are you going to fix it? What is the plan?
Clyde. It's okay.
No, it's not.
Everything will be all right.
All I know is Friday, I'm off. Friday and Monday, I'm off. I'm done.
Okay.
So, you know what else is done?
This episode?
This episode.
You know what we forgot to do?
No, we didn't.
We didn't?
We didn't forget.
We didn't forget?
No.
What did we not forget?
We didn't forget to thank the patrons.
We didn't. Oh, good.
We just didn't thank them.
I was so worried that we forgot.
No, we didn't forget. We just didn't thank them.
You know, it's a thing I put on my calendar to remind me, and I don't think I put it on my calendar this week. I totally forgot.
Because we just decided we weren't going to thank them today.
We're not thanking the patrons? Why aren't we thanking the patrons?
I don't know. Don't feel
like
it.
It's gotten into you, Clyde.
Sorry, it's work.
That sourness at work has gotten you sour all over.
Well, I'm always sour. That's why I down here at the bottom of the screen is the anchor holding you guys down.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, thanks for keeping us grounded, Clyde. But goodness sakes, the patrons are worth remembering and mentioning.
You are right.
And you know, if somebody wasn't a patron and they wanted to be, so they could tell us what to do and where to go, basically they can. They should go to patreon.com/thevod squad and let us know there.
Absolutely. Patrons, you guys are awesome.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. And everybody else, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. If you're watching this after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central here on Twitch. Join us live. That's where you get to participate in the chat. You get to say funny things or correct us or type whatever. And you get to submit titles, which we're going to vote on here in the post show that you also don't get to see if you're watching this after the fact. So head on over to tvs.showbot.tv. Vote on those titles. We will get to them as well as Nickelbot here in a minute. So thanks, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
The Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.